surely, my friend, it will empower the lives of those who take time to listen, to those who take time. And so thank you again for your attention. So in the UK, I was speaking at a conference. Les Brown and I were speaking together. Now, usually I would speak first and then Les would speak afterwards. But this occasion, they had him speak first and then I followed up. And as always, Les was just absolutely phenomenal. And he spoke along the theme of don't allow other people's negative opinion of you to become your reality. Now, if you don't know Les's story in a nutshell, twins, he and his brother. So twins were born and abandoned by their mother in an abandoned building. And so eventually they were adopted and so forth. And they always called Les the slow twin. And he was labeled mentally retarded, educably slow and so forth. And he bought into that until one day, mentor, a coach who helped him to break out of that. And now he's a powerful example and speaks on that. And so again, he said, don't allow other people's negative opinion of you to become your reality. It was so powerful. So afterwards, we were talking a little bit before I spoke, and I said, Les, that's off the hook. That message has to get around the world. That's powerful. That's life transformational.
Well,
and I said, I got one little thing. Hold on a second. I said, I got one little thing that I think can help take it even further. And he's like, come on, Doc, what you got? I said, okay. I said, how about this? How about only allow God's opinion of you to become your reality? He's like, oh, Doc, I think you got me. I like that one. So with that in mind, I got to thinking upon, and the Lord ministered to me on. So I'm going to give you what I believe could revolutionize your life. Now, some of you, again, different people, different personalities, take a little more into consideration, but every single human being will be affected by this. And so here's the title of the topic. You want to write it down, I'll just go through talking, expounding. So here's the thought. Stop allowing your own or others' negative opinion concerning you, your business, your past, or what you desire to accomplish to become your reality. Instead, only allow God's truth to become your reality. Let me say it again. You want to write this down unless, of course, you're driving, right? But stop allowing, if you can envision a stop sign, right? I'm putting up a stop sign. Stop allowing your own or others' negative opinion concerning you, your business, your past, or what you desire to accomplish to become your reality. Instead, only, I'm emphasizing, only allow God's truth to become your reality. One more time for you slow writers, okay? Stop allowing your own or others' negative opinions concerning you, your business, your past, or what you desire to accomplish to become your reality. Instead, allow only God's truth to become your reality. Romans 3, verse 3 and verse 4, but just verse 4 for right now. Let God be true, but every man a liar. So think about that for a minute. So stop allowing, first of all, your own. See, 83% of self-talk is negative, which means, get this now, I was my worst enemy growing up. I never believed in me. And again, a lot of that is again, if you come up in a great environment, an empowering environment, like Jonathan constantly, I'm calling him, I don't even barely call him Jonathan, I call him Champion all the time. Hey, Champ, right? And embracing and complimenting him and giving him praise for not just things that he does right, but things that he attempts. So he's got an environment of love, an environment of praise, an environment of good examples in front of him and so forth. So someone like that has a lot better chance of coming up with the right type of mentality. But most of us, most of our belief system was developed by the time we're 16, which means most of what we believe we don't believe is what we picked up based on the environment that we came up in. And if we came up in a good empowering environment, okay, well, we got an extra incentive, right? If not, then we're thinking thoughts that really were impressed upon us. We're thinking based on what we felt and so forth, and what we experienced, and that might not be good. But wait a minute now. So in the early days, it was not your fault. But now that you're an adult, now, my friend, you have to take personal responsibility. And as you heard me say, the word responsibility means respond with ability. And so, my friend, let me just tell you this briefly. So B.F. Skinner, many years ago, he was partly right when he said that you are a product of your environment. He was partly right. Now, I like to say you're only a product of the inside, not outside environment. That's the difference. See, he was trying to say, based on your environment, so you come up in a bad environment, you'll be bad. A good environment, you'll be good. Well, that's not true. We have people that come up in great environments, like Adam and Eve, a perfect environment, and they messed the whole thing up, right? You got folks that grow up in Christian home with Christian example, Christian love, Christian everything, and still they go running out, my friend. I'm saying, listen, my friend, you're not a product of your environment so much. You're a product of the inside environment. In other words, the environment of your mind. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Romans 12:2, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so, my friend, if there's no enemy within, the African proverb says, the enemy without can do you no harm. So again, stop allowing your own. See, I'm stopping there first because that's where the problem lies. See, most of us, my friend, are our own worst enemy. And if someone else would talk about you the way you think and talk about yourself, you wouldn't hang around them much. Hello, somebody. I said, if most of the people would criticize you the way you criticize yourself, if most of the people would come down on you the way you come down on yourself, my friend, you wouldn't think highly of them. You wouldn't be around them. And yet, my friend, somehow we've learned, we've grown up doing that to ourselves. And it's so bad that when someone gives us a compliment, we reject it. And when someone gives us criticism, we readily accept it. And sometimes it's under the guise of being a quote unquote humble Christian. The humility thing is really just making sure you're giving credit to where credit is due, and that's Almighty God. But watch this, my friend. Humility is submitting yourself under the mighty hand and mighty arm of God. But watch this, my friend. And by the way, I always say, the beginning of greatness is to be little, the increase of greatness is to be less, the perfection of greatness is to be nothing, and to be nothing that he might be everything in me. But when I become nothing, so he becomes everything in me, listen, my friend, now we are co-laborers. We get to work together because he said, I don't want you feeling like you're nothing and nobody. I want you to understand with me and in me, as the scripture says, without, the song or whatever scripture, without me, you can do nothing. Well, guess what? That means with him, you can do everything. Watch this now. So watch this, as I was sharing with my son the other day. The thing about confidence and so forth, Proverbs 3:26, the Lord shall be thy confidence. So you can have great confidence. You can have great assurance. But get this, my friend, every last one of you on this line, examine yourselves. How are you speaking to yourself? How are you thinking about yourself? And do you have negative opinions about yourself, about your ability to build a business? If you see, that's why some people say, well, what if it doesn't work? See, that's your own negative opinion that you keep getting out there, my friend. And so you've got to learn to block that. You've got to learn to stop that. So again, stop allowing your own negative opinion, because most of the time it's with you. And I'm telling you, my friend, most of my life, I didn't think I could do anything, but other people who I respected, they believed in me. They thought I could do something. And so I wouldn't attempt it because I thought I could do it. I only attempted it because they thought I could do it, and I didn't want to let them down, and it shocked me when it worked. And then one day I got to the place I said, man, why don't I just go ahead and believe in myself or believe in the God in me? By the way, write this down. This is one of my themes for this year. It's time for God to shine in you. Now, of course, I said it's time for God to shine through me, and you too, if you want him to. But it's God's time to shine through me. You need to say that to yourself day in and day out, my friend. It's God's time to shine. And listen, my friend, when you allow God to shine through you, watch this, there's going to be a difference. But you got to stop. Get this now. Stop allowing your own negative opinion. See, you have a negative opinion about yourself. You have a negative opinion about your past. You got a negative opinion about your business. You have a negative opinion about what you desire to accomplish, and that's why it's not happening, my friend. So you've got to have a breakthrough. You've got to have a switch, and you've got to learn, my friend, you got to learn that only God's truth. That's why you got to spend time in this word, my friend. You got to meditate so that God's truth becomes your reality. So again, stop allowing your own, and then again, or others' negative opinions. So that's kicking to another gear here. So sometimes it's other people's negative opinion. I love what Booker T. Washington said, by the way. Everything I began to do in life, I began with the ideal I can and will succeed. Man, I wish everybody. He said, everything in life that I began to do, I began with the ideal I can and will succeed. You see, my friend, if you could think that way about yourself, everything would change. See, you're looking for somebody outside of you to help and empower you. See, I don't help people anymore. I only empower people. See, it's like somebody drowning, right? And you jump in and try to save them, and they don't mean to, but they're trying to pull you down, right? So now what I tell people, instead of helping them by jumping in, I empower them by throwing in a life preserver. And so you grab on, and I'll pull you out. If not, it's the best eulogy they ever heard. I'm laughing, but I'm really serious about that, my friend. Empower means I help you to understand you got power inside you that's untapped. You got potential inside of you, my friend, that you haven't understood and realized. And now I'm teaching you some things, and I'm being an example to help you to ignite what's on the inside of you, because everything you need, God already knew you was going to come up against it, so he put it deep on the inside of you. But sometimes, like Adam, my friend, it's so deep, he got to put you to sleep and do some surgery, because there's going to be so much pain to bring it out. And God, like in Adam's case, reached down inside of Adam and pulled out of Adam what was in Adam that Adam didn't even know was there. The help Adam needed, Eve, was already inside of him, but he just didn't know. And everything you need, my friend, but I'm telling you, imagination will get you everywhere else. She imagined running. She imagined being a top-class, world-class runner. That's right. You say, how does somebody, because, my friend, listen, nobody can hinder your imagination except you. And so guess what? She imagined it. And then she started applying herself. And eventually, she was able to walk without her braces. And then she was able to run. And then she ran faster. And by the age of 16, she was in the Olympics, got a bronze medal. 4 years later, she came back at age 20 and won 3 gold medals, the first woman in history to ever do that, and she was deemed the fastest woman in the world. Wait a minute, how could somebody, my friend, like that, how could somebody do that? I'll tell you why. Because she stopped, listen carefully, she stopped allowing her own or others' negative opinion concerning her to become her reality, but instead she allowed God's truth to become her reality. Romans 3:4, yea, let God be true, but every man a liar. You see, my friend, history is full of situations like this. What about Steve Harvey? What about Steve Harvey as a little boy when they were told, come and tell us what you'd like to be in life? And all the kids were reading their paper what they wanted to be. And when Steve Harvey got up back then, he had a bad stuttering problem. And he was stuttering. He said, I want to be on TV. And the teacher literally, and why a teacher would do this, especially in front of others, and said, now, Steve, you can't even barely talk. Why in the world would you think you're going to be on television? You need to change, think about something else. And guess what? Steve Harvey, my friend, you know the story now, and everywhere on television. And so guess what? He said every year he sends that woman a huge big screen TV so she won't miss him on TV. See, what's the difference between Steve Harvey and you? The only difference is he stopped allowing his own or others' negative opinion concerning him to become his reality, but instead he allowed God's truth to become his reality. Tyler Perry, we could say the same thing, who, again, my friend, living out of his car, homeless for a while, selling his little CDs out of his car. He had a dream. He had a goal. And listen, people laughed him to scorn. But guess what, my friend? He started all of a sudden taking his Medea, his little play all across the world. And make a long story short, my friend, now he was able to build. And they said, it'll never happen. It'll never happen, Tyler. And he was able to build. They said, Tyler, because you had some success, don't go overboard thinking, no. He was able to build, and now he's got the largest studio in the world. But guess what? Owned by him. And instead of taking deals from somebody else, he created his own deal. And I'm telling you, my friend, what was the difference? The only difference between you and Tyler Perry is he stopped allowing his own or others' negative opinion concerning him, his business, his past, or what he desired to accomplish to become his reality. Instead, he only allowed God's truth to become his reality. I tell you all the time about Myron Golden, the first guy ever led to Christ 42 years ago. And things weren't clicking for Myron. He had polio as a child, but Myron had a strong belief and determination. But our Christian school, when he graduated, he got the award most likely to get on your nerves. And flunked out of college. I was a professor at the time. He was one of the students there, and flunked out of college and dropped out. But guess what, my friend? Went on to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. As a matter of fact, there was an event not long ago where he spoke for 45 minutes or less and made $3.8 million. Come on, somebody. This year already, he's already made over $1 million so far for this month, last month. And doing it again this month. But what I'm saying is this: what's the difference between Myron Golden and you? The difference is he stopped allowing his own or others' negative opinion concerning him, his business, or his past, or what he wanted to accomplish to become his reality, but he started allowing God's truth to become his reality. As a matter of fact, my friend, I'm going to tell you, many family members said, Myron, just give this thing up. I remember, bless his heart, he was in home-based business over a year and a half, almost not one single sale. But guess what? Nobody bought his product, but he kept on and kept on and kept on and kept on. And now he's considered one of the greatest salesmen in the world. Why? Because he didn't allow his own or others' negative opinion to become his reality. I think about myself when I started martial arts over 50 years ago now, and they called me Mr. Baboon. They laughed at me. I used to trip over my own feet. And I said, y'all laugh all y'all want to, but one day I'm going to whoop all y'all. And many of you know my story as a 6-year-old boy being jumped and tarred and feathered by a teenage gang and left out in the field literally to die. And so I was greatly motivated, right? I was like, man, I'm going to learn how to protect myself. So I was greatly motivated with this martial arts. And they laughed at me. But guess what, my friend? 38 years later, my friend, after working out many times 4 and 5 hours a day, but 38 years later, nobody was laughing, my friend, when I was inducted into the Black Belt Hall of Fame. Nobody was laughing when I retired 15 years ago now as the heavyweight champion with Karate World Rating System. Nobody's laughing now when I'm one of 100 10th degree black belts in the world. I'm saying, my friend, you've got to stop allowing your own or others' negative opinion concerning you, your business, your past, or what you desire to accomplish to become your reality. Only, I beg you, only allow God's truth to become your reality. Romans 3:4. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar. Even you, my friend, by the way, 1 John 3:20, if our heart condemn us, God is greater than our heart. See, for my past, I don't need to know your past. You don't know your future. That's your problem. See, here's the thing. Your past is just that. See, the past does not dictate the future, like my mentor, Bill Bailey, taught me, who had a company grossing $64 million a month, and his story is incredible too. But watch this, my friend, $64 million a month back in the days, no email, no fax machine, no nothing, in the early 70s. And but anyway, he said, your past does not dictate the future unless you allow it. I said, ooh, say that again. I'm writing that down. He said, your past does not dictate the future unless you allow it. All of us have things in our past that we wish we could erase. But listen, I found out this. Your past was meant to be a lesson, not a life sentence. Ooh. I said your past, I'll just flip it. Your past is not to be a life sentence, but rather a lesson, my friend. And so listen, my friend, there are those that would try to say, Moses, you murdered somebody. How do you think you're going to be used of God? Okay, Moses, you can listen to them or you can listen to God. Come on, somebody. I'm saying, listen, I'm telling you, my friend, it's literally, I know it sounds like I'm oversimplifying it, but I'm telling you, my friend, I think I put my finger on the thing that could change your life forever, but empower you also to change others' lives. And that is, my friend, all through the Bible. Gideon, he's thinking he's a coward. He's thinking he's a nobody, but God appears to him and says, no, mighty man of valor. What if Noah would have listened to what the folks laughing at him, 120 years of building, and they said, where's this rain at, Noah? What if Jabez, his mom had him, called him Jabez because he was a child of her sorrow. I mean, what? No. Jabez went beyond that in 1 Chronicles 4:10. And Jabez, and here's the difference between Jabez and some other folks. Jabez began to call upon the God of Israel. See, he didn't stay in this pity party. He started praying, my friend, and he said, "Oh, that thou wouldest bless me indeed, and that thou wouldst enlarge my coast, and that thy hand might be with me, and that thou wouldst keep me from evil, that it might not grieve me." And God granted him his request. What about David? His brothers telling him, "Boy, what are you out here for? Go on back." If David would allow his brothers' opinion of him to become his reality, Israel would have not been delivered then, my friend, or God would have had to raise somebody else up. But guess what? David said, "Y'all might not recognize who I am. You might not know, but I know who I am based on who the God in me called me to be." And as a matter of fact, I like what David did. He rehearsed a little bit just to make sure. He said, "Now, there was a lion that came after me, and I destroyed that by the power of God, and the bear. So I don't know who you think you are, big old bully Goliath." And some of you, that's what you got to do. You got to pull out. Listen, he's done things for you in the past. He's given you breakthroughs in the past. Come on, somebody. There was times you didn't think you could do things, and you end up doing them in the past. There was time. So I'm saying, my friend, the Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. So a double-minded man is unstable, but gets a decided and decisive man. And when I say man, when God made man, he made Adam and Eve. He called them man. It was Adam that called her name Eve later. So when I say man, and God says man, he's talking about mankind. But watch this, my friend. But I'm telling you, my friend, you got to understand you have the power of a free will. And so you can rearrange the thoughts in your mind. That's why I put together my 21-day breakthrough challenge. That's why I developed the 10-day advance challenge. That's why I put out my book, Your Breakthrough is Guaranteed, and how to build a big king fast, things like that. Why? So it can help empower you, my friend, to stop allowing your own or others' negative opinion concerning you, your business, your past, or what you desire to accomplish to become your reality, but rather only allow God's truth to become your reality. If Nehemiah would have listened to them, there never would have been a wall. If Paul would have listened, can you imagine? He's like, no, man. You were Saul. You was the one. You was the one standing there when they killed Stephen, and now you come up here acting like you done got saved or something, man. If he would have done like most of us do, he would have stayed Saul, literally. But it becomes Paul. It becomes mightily used of God. Why? Because he doesn't allow others' negative opinion concerning his past, come on, somebody, or concerning him. We could go all through the Bible, the woman at the well. I mean, listen, John Mark, who gave up and finally, matter of fact, Barnabas and Paul fought off. Because he's like, well, I want to take him. Paul's like, no, man, he's a little time for that. And Paul and Barnabas had to break up because Paul's like, I ain't doing that. But later on in life, Paul says John Mark was profitable. But if John Mark would have allowed his past, if John Mark would have allowed Paul's negative opinion of him to become his reality,